He believed that by walking away he was claiming his freedom, but freedom without connection feels hollow. The absence you left behind isn't just empty space, it's a loud, aching silence that fills every corner of his world. When someone steps away, it's easy to think that only the one left behind feels the loss, but the truth is, silence cuts deeper than words ever could. He's beginning to feel it now, the weight of what he threw away. The silence between you isn't empty. It's full of everything unsaid, everything lost, everything that might have been. He's confronted with the reality that his decision, once so sure, wasn't the escape he thought it was. Instead, it's a trap of loneliness and regret. The laughter you shared, the moments of quiet understanding, the little habits that made life feel whole, all of that is gone now, replaced by the emptiness of silence. This silence doesn't scream or shout. It simply exists as a constant reminder of what he pushed away. It makes him realize that power isn't in rejection. It's in the restraint of what he can no longer have. This silence holds him accountable in ways words never could. It forces him to sit with the truth without distractions or excuses. The space you gave him isn't a punishment. It's a reflection of your strength. It's a boundary that says you will not be taken for granted. It's an invitation to respect the value you hold even when he couldn't see it. When you don't fill that silence with desperation or pleading, it becomes a powerful message, a testament to your worth and your dignity. He thought that silence would break you, but it's breaking him instead. It's making him question the choices he made, the moments he ignored, the chances he missed. Your quiet is a mirror showing him what he lost, and it's teaching him the hardest lesson, that love can't be demanded or controlled. It must be earned, nurtured, and respected. And when you choose silence over chasing, you reveal a strength that commands more respect than any argument or confrontation ever could. You've chosen yourself. In that choice, you've shown him that your value is not tied to his approval or his presence. Your silence speaks volumes about self-respect and inner power. It's the quiet roar of someone who refuses to be diminished by rejection, who refuses to lose themselves in someone else's choices. This silence is a shield, protecting your heart while making him realize the magnitude of what he's lost. It's a calm storm that shakes his world and forces him to reckon with the emptiness his rejection created. You're not silent because you're broken. You're silent because you're whole. You don't need to fill the space with noise or explanations. The silence is your voice, clear and unwavering. It tells him you've moved on, not with bitterness or anger, but with peace and strength. And that realization, that your silence is more powerful than any words, will stay with him long after his voice fades away. He thought that walking away would give him relief, a fresh start, but relief doesn't come from running. What he's discovering now is the fog that silence casts, thick, heavy, and impossible to ignore. This fog dulls everything around him. The brightness he expected is replaced by a dull ache, a quiet desperation that he can't silence with new distractions or empty conversations. Every day without your voice is a day filled with echoes of what he let go, what he rejected, and what he now regrets deeply. Silence is not absence. It's a presence. It's the quiet storm that stirs inside him, unsettling everything he thought he knew about freedom and control. This silence strips away the illusion of power he once held. He believed rejection was his way to win, to take back control. But control isn't taking. True control is knowing when to hold on and when to let go with respect. Your silence is teaching him this truth without a single word. It's showing him that strength isn't loud or aggressive. It's calm, composed, and unyielding. When you don't chase or plead, you demonstrate an unbreakable self-respect. You show him that your worth isn't something to be bargained for or debated. It is steady, unmovable, and defined by your own standards, not his fleeting desires. He thought he would see desperation, pain, or confusion in your silence. Instead, he encounters peace. This peace unsettles him because it's the sign that you have chosen yourself over the chaos of his rejection. The silence between you isn't a void to be filled. It's a space where your dignity lives, where your strength grows, where your heart finds rest. And while he wrestles with the emptiness he created, you are reclaiming the power to live fully, to love deeply, and to walk forward without looking back. Your silence is a statement louder than any argument or explanation could ever be. It tells him that your love was never conditional on his approval, that your happiness isn't dependent on his presence. You don't need to justify your worth or beg for what you deserve. This quiet is your shield and your sword, protecting you from pain and cutting through the lies that told you otherwise. It teaches him without confrontation that the one thing he can't have is the love of someone who chooses herself first. He's realizing that replacing you isn't possible because no one else carries the weight of your silence. Your absence in his life isn't just a missing piece, it's a reminder of everything real and true he lost by letting you go. And while he chases after echoes, you stand firm in the knowledge that silence can be the loudest form of love, a love that demands respect, honors self-worth, and refuses to settle for less. You are not defined by his rejection. Your silence proves it. It's the sound of healing, growth, and unwavering strength. It's the quiet declaration that you will never be diminished by someone else's inability to see your value. And that truth, held in your silence, is what will carry you forward into a life where you are chosen, cherished, and deeply loved. He believed that freedom meant walking away, but what he's learning now is that freedom without connection is a hollow victory. The space your silence creates is not emptiness, it's a presence that fills his mind with questions he can't answer and memories he can't escape. Every moment you don't speak echoes louder than any argument ever could. It's in these silent moments that he feels the weight of loss, the sharp sting of regret, and the quiet realization that he underestimated what you truly meant to him. The silence you keep isn't absence. It's a powerful force that confronts him with the truth he tried to avoid. Your silence speaks with clarity. It doesn't plead, it doesn't beg, it doesn't try to explain. Instead, it commands respect. It's a boundary drawn in the sand, a line that says you won't settle for less than you deserve. In your silence, you hold your ground with unwavering strength. This is a message far stronger than any desperate words could convey. It shows him that you are not defined by his rejection, but by your own self-worth. You are not a reflection of his choices, you are the author of your own story. And in choosing silence, you choose peace, dignity, and self-respect. He thought he could replace what he lost, but he quickly learns that silence carries a weight no one else can bear. Your absence isn't just a missing piece in his life. It's a constant reminder of the depth and value of what he let slip away. Others may try to fill the space, but they can never replicate the presence your silence represents. It's a quiet power that haunts him because it proves something undeniable. You were never someone to be taken lightly, and now that you are silent, he realizes what it truly means to lose you. The truth is, rejection often masks fear. Fear of vulnerability, fear of commitment, fear of losing control. But your silence strips away these fears and lays bare the reality of the situation. It forces him to confront himself, his mistakes, and the consequences of pushing you away. When words fail, silence holds space for reflection, growth, and understanding. It's a catalyst that can shake his world, breaking down walls built on pride and forcing him to see the cost of his choices. Your silence is not passive, it is a statement. It declares that you are whole, that you are enough, and that you won't chase after someone who doesn't value you. It shows the strength of a heart that chooses itself over the pain of rejection. It embodies the courage to move forward without looking back, knowing that true love begins with self-love. This silence is your power, a force that cannot be ignored or forgotten. While he wrestles with the emptiness your silence creates, you are reclaiming your life. You are growing, healing, and rising beyond the pain of rejection. Your silence is a sanctuary, a place where your worth is nurtured and your spirit strengthened. It's the sound of transformation, the quiet revolution that changes everything. And this is why your silence is more than absence. It is the greatest act of love you can give yourself. He believed your silence was a void, something easy to fill or forget. But silence carries weight. It holds memories, emotions, and truths that no replacement can ever touch. Every attempt to move on, every new connection, only highlights the absence of what you represented. Your silence becomes a presence in his life, a constant shadow reminding him of the depth and authenticity he chose to leave behind. It unsettles him because it's a reflection of the love he dismissed and the connection he undervalued. You are not just a chapter closed, you are the imprint left on every page he now struggles to read without you. This silence is not passive, it is deliberate. It is the calm between storms, the steady beat of a heart that refuses to break. In your quiet you claim space, not just physical, but emotional and spiritual space that he once occupied. You are choosing yourself with every moment you don't fill with noise. This choice challenges everything he believed about rejection and power. He thought pushing you away would break your spirit, but instead, it has revealed your resilience. Your silence speaks louder than any argument ever could, demanding respect and acknowledgement of your worth. He is learning that love cannot be commanded or coerced. It cannot be forced into existence by chasing or pleading. True love thrives on mutual respect, appreciation, and presence. When you step back into silence, you show him what it means to love yourself enough to walk away from what no longer serves your growth. Your silence is a boundary, a line drawn in the sand that says you will not accept less than you deserve. It teaches him that his rejection was not just a loss for you, but a loss for himself, because he lost someone who knows her worth and refuses to settle. In this silence, you are not waiting for him to come back. You are moving forward, growing stronger and more confident. Your silence protects your heart while nurturing your soul. It is the sound of self-love unfolding, the quiet power of healing that no words can replicate. While he struggles with the emptiness his choice created, you are creating space for new beginnings, new dreams, and new possibilities. You are not defined by his rejection, but by the strength you show in rising above it. Every moment you stay silent, you teach him an unspoken lesson, that love is not a game to be won or lost, but a sacred bond that requires respect and care. You show him that true power lies in self-control and self-respect, not in pushing others away or playing games of rejection. Your silence becomes a mirror, reflecting back the value he failed to see and the love he took for granted. It challenges him to confront his mistakes and to recognize the depth of what he lost. Your silence is your strength. It is the voice of a woman who knows her worth and refuses to be diminished. It is the quiet revolution that reshapes your life and redefines your future. And in this silence you are free, free to love yourself first, free to demand the respect you deserve, and free to create a life filled with authenticity, peace, and true connection. The silence you hold is more than an absence of sound. It is a declaration of your inner power. It tells a story that words cannot express, a story of resilience, strength, and unwavering self-worth. This silence is a fortress around your heart, protecting you from the chaos of rejection and the temptation to lower your standards. It demands attention not through noise, but through presence. It forces him to recognize that your value is not something to negotiate or dismiss. In this silence, you hold the ultimate power, the power of self-love, self-respect, and unshakable dignity. He believed he could break you by turning away, but what he doesn't see is that your silence builds you up. It is the space where healing happens, where wounds begin to close, and where clarity emerges. While he wrestles with regret and confusion, you are growing in confidence and understanding. The silence between you is a boundary that says, I am enough. I do not need to beg for love or acceptance. This boundary is your protection and your gift to yourself. It signals that you refuse to be diminished by someone else's inability to see your worth. Your silence unsettles him because it is so powerful. It does not plead for answers or explanations. It simply exists, steady and unyielding. It disrupts his narrative that rejection means weakness. Instead, your silence rewrites the story. Rejection is not the end, but the beginning of your rise. It demands that he face the reality of what he lost and reconsider the choices he made. When words fail, silence speaks clearly. It teaches him lessons he ignored before, lessons about respect, love, and the consequences of pushing someone away who truly cared. This silence is not a sign of defeat, it is a mark of victory. It shows that you have chosen yourself over pain, peace over chaos, and growth over stagnation. In holding your silence, you are reclaiming your power and refusing to let rejection define you. You are breaking free from the cycle of seeking approval and validation from someone who could not give it. Your silence is the sound of your soul's strength, quiet but undeniable. He feels the absence of your voice because it is a reflection of his own loss. Your silence is a reminder that love cannot be forced or controlled. It must be given freely and received with gratitude. It is the space where true transformation happens, for both of you. While he is left to wrestle with what he lost, you are moving forward with clarity and purpose. Your silence is the soundtrack of your rebirth, a powerful testament to your resilience and your refusal to settle for anything less than you deserve. This silence will carry you through the darkest moments, guiding you toward a future where you are chosen, respected, and loved authentically. It is your strength, your voice, and your freedom. And in this silence, you are whole. There is a profound strength in choosing silence over reaction. When you refuse to fill the void left by rejection with noise, excuses, or desperate attempts to mend what has been broken, you take control of your narrative. This control is not about power over him, it is power over yourself. It is the ability to honor your emotions without allowing them to dictate your actions. It is the courage to stand firm in your self-worth, even when the world around you feels uncertain. In this quiet strength you find clarity, peace, and a deep knowing that your value is intrinsic and unwavering. His rejection was a mirror reflecting his fears, insecurities, and limitations, not a measure of your worth. But silence gives you the space to see this clearly. It allows you to separate his shortcomings from your identity, preventing the sting of rejection from becoming a wound that defines you. In embracing silence, you create a sanctuary within yourself where healing begins. You allow your heart to breathe, your mind to clear, and your spirit to grow. This internal space is fertile ground for transformation, where pain is alchemized into strength and rejection becomes a stepping stone rather than a stumbling block. The power of your silence lies in its refusal to engage with what diminishes you. It is not avoidance, it is a deliberate act of preservation. You protect your energy and your emotions from being consumed by someone who does not see your value. By not chasing, not explaining, and not pleading, you reinforce the truth that your love and attention are gifts, not obligations. This stance commands respect, even if it is uncomfortable for him to face. It forces him to reckon with the reality that you are not waiting on the sidelines, vulnerable and hoping. You are standing tall, whole, and worthy, regardless of his absence. Your silence sends a message louder than any words could, that you have chosen yourself. This choice is revolutionary. It defies the misconception that vulnerability requires vulnerability at all costs. True vulnerability is about authenticity, self-respect, and boundaries. It is knowing when to hold on and when to let go. When you embrace silence after rejection, you embrace your power to decide what you accept in your life. You demonstrate that your heart is not a playground for indecision or neglect, but a sacred space reserved for genuine connection and mutual respect. This is the essence of transformation, shifting from reaction to response, from desperation to dignity. Your silence is the sound of that shift. It is the quiet declaration that you will no longer settle for less than you deserve, that you will no longer compromise your peace for the approval of others. In this silence, you are free to grow, to heal, and to prepare for a future where you are chosen, valued, and deeply loved. Your silence is not the end. It is the powerful beginning of everything you truly deserve. Your silence holds a truth that words often fail to capture. It is a declaration that your identity and happiness are not dependent on someone else's acceptance or rejection. In the quiet space you create, you reclaim your power and redefine your worth. This silence is a fortress built not from bitterness or anger, but from self-respect and clarity. It tells him, without uttering a single word, that you will not allow his choices to diminish the light within you. It signals that your value is inherent and untouchable, no matter the outcome of any relationship. When you choose silence after rejection, you embrace a profound form of self-care. You shield yourself from the endless cycle of seeking validation and approval that leads to exhaustion and heartbreak. Instead of giving him the energy of your pain, you redirect it inward to heal and strengthen yourself. This inward focus nurtures your resilience, builds emotional muscles, and cultivates a peace that no external circumstance can shake. The silence you maintain becomes the sound of your heart growing stronger, your mind becoming clearer, and your soul reclaiming its rightful place of honor. He may misinterpret your silence as indifference or weakness, but it is anything but that. It is a calculated choice, rooted in courage and wisdom. It is the recognition that some battles are not worth fighting, and some conversations are better left unsaid. By refusing to engage in destructive patterns or meaningless exchanges, you preserve your dignity and protect your energy. You demonstrate that your love and attention are precious resources, resources you will not squander on someone who does not reciprocate your respect and care. Your silence challenges him to confront his own feelings without the distraction of your reactions. It forces him to sit with the consequences of his rejection and to acknowledge the gap that has been left in his life. While he wrestles with this uncomfortable truth, you are cultivating a future built on self-love and intentional boundaries. Your silence becomes a mirror reflecting not just what was lost, but also what can be gained through growth and transformation. It is a space where healing happens, where clarity is born, and where you prepare yourself for a love that honors and uplifts you. This silence is not a surrender, it is a powerful stance. It says, I will not chase, I will not plead, I will not diminish myself for someone else's inability to value me. It is a refusal to let rejection define your story. Instead, you write your own narrative, one of strength, courage, and unwavering self-worth. You show that the greatest love you can offer is the love you give yourself, and that this love sets the foundation for every meaningful connection that follows. In this silence, you become the guardian of your own heart. You protect it from pain, from compromise, and from settling. You honor your journey, your growth, and your dreams. This silence is your declaration of freedom, the freedom to heal, to rise, and to create a life filled with respect, passion, and authentic love. It is the sound of your soul speaking louder than rejection ever could. Your silence is a sanctuary, a sacred space where you honor yourself without apology. It is the quiet strength that refuses to be shaken by rejection or doubt. In this stillness, you reclaim your identity from the chaos of broken expectations and unspoken disappointments. You make a powerful choice to nurture your worth quietly, patiently, without seeking approval or validation from the one who turned away. This choice transforms rejection from a wound into a wellspring of inner strength and self-awareness. It is in this silence that you begin to understand your true power, not in words spoken, but in the calm conviction of self-love. When you maintain your silence, you shift the dynamic from desperation to dignity. You refuse to be pulled into a cycle of pleading or explanations that only drain your energy and blur your sense of self. Instead, you hold your ground with grace and resolve. This refusal is not about shutting down, it is about opening up to a deeper connection with yourself. It is about listening to your own needs, honoring your emotions, and setting boundaries that protect your heart. In doing so, you show that your love is not conditional, and your respect is not earned through struggle. It is inherent, unyielding, and non-negotiable. The absence of your voice is a presence that commands attention. It unsettles him because it disrupts the familiar patterns of pursuit and retreat. Your silence is a mirror reflecting not only what was lost, but also the strength you carry forward. It challenges him to face the consequences of his actions without the distraction of your reactions. This silent space becomes a testing ground for growth, both for him to reckon with what rejection means, and for you to redefine what acceptance feels like. You are no longer caught in the tension of if only or what if. You are moving beyond that, stepping into a future shaped by intentional choices and unwavering self-respect. Your silence is a declaration that you are not a prize to be won, but a person to be cherished. It demands that he see you, not as an option or fallback, but as a whole, valuable individual with your own dreams and boundaries. This message, though unspoken, carries immense power. It tells him that rejection is not the end of your story, but a pivotal chapter that leads to growth and transformation. In holding your silence, you teach him a lesson about love, one that cannot be learned through words or confrontation, but only through the quiet strength of presence and self-worth. This silent strength fuels your healing and your growth. It allows you to break free from the cycle of dependency on someone else's validation. It reminds you that the most profound love you will ever experience begins with yourself. This silence is the foundation upon which you rebuild your life, a life where you are chosen, respected, and deeply valued. It is a soundless anthem of resilience that speaks louder than any apology or explanation ever could. Your silence is not absence, it is the loudest declaration of your worth. Your silence is not emptiness, it is a powerful force that reshapes your reality. In choosing not to fill the void left by rejection with words or excuses, you create space for something far greater: growth, healing, and self-realization. This silence is a statement of resilience, a refusal to let pain dictate your future. It is the conscious decision to prioritize your inner peace over external validation. When you embrace this quiet strength, you step into a new kind of freedom, one where your worth is defined not by someone else's actions but by your unwavering belief in yourself. This silence disrupts old patterns that keep you stuck in cycles of doubt and fear. It interrupts the habit of seeking answers where there are none, and breaks the grip of hoping for explanations that may never come. Instead of reacting to rejection with confusion or anger, you respond with calm and clarity. This shift transforms your experience from one of victimhood to empowerment. It teaches you that sometimes the most profound change happens not through words, but through the spaces between them, the silent pauses that allow you to gather strength and perspective. In the absence of your voice, you send a message that is impossible to ignore. Your silence speaks volumes about your boundaries, your self-respect, and your refusal to settle for less than you deserve. It communicates that your heart is not a playground for indecision or neglect, but a sacred space reserved for love that is genuine and mutual. This message is not meant to punish or manipulate. It is an honest reflection of your truth. It forces him to confront the reality of what he lost, while you reclaim the narrative of your life with dignity and purpose. Silence after rejection is a form of self-protection that honors your emotional well-being. It shields you from the exhaustion of chasing someone who cannot or will not meet you halfway. By holding your silence, you preserve your energy and focus it on yourself, on healing wounds, rebuilding confidence, and rediscovering joy. This inward turn is not selfish, it is necessary. It allows you to break free from the chains of external approval and ground yourself in your own unconditional worth. Your silence becomes the fertile soil where new strength and clarity can take root and flourish. This journey of silence is not easy, but it is transformative. It calls for courage to let go of the need to explain, justify, or negotiate your feelings. It demands faith in your own value when everything around you seems uncertain. Yet within this challenge lies your greatest opportunity to rise above rejection and claim a life defined by self-love and respect. Your silence becomes a powerful declaration that you are not defined by someone else's inability to appreciate you. It is the quiet roar of a soul determined to heal, grow, and be loved on its own terms. This silence is your strength, your voice, and your liberation. The silence you hold after rejection is an act of profound self-respect. It is the ultimate refusal to allow someone else's inability to value you dictate your sense of worth. This silence is not a void but a powerful boundary, a shield protecting your heart from further harm while you gather strength and clarity. When you choose not to react impulsively, you break free from the cycle of pain and confusion. Instead, you create a space where healing can begin and transformation becomes possible. This quiet act is a radical form of self-love, demonstrating that your peace matters more than the approval of another. By holding your silence, you disrupt the expectation that you must explain, justify, or plead for acceptance. This disruption is not only freeing for you but also challenges the other person to face the reality of their choice without your intervention. It forces a reckoning, not through confrontation, but through absence. This absence becomes a powerful message. You are not here to be an option or a fallback. You are a whole, complete person who demands respect simply by existing. Your silence communicates that your heart is not a commodity to be bargained for, but a treasure to be honored. This silence invites you to reconnect with yourself on a deeper level. It creates room to explore your true feelings without distortion from external noise or pressure. In this space, you confront your fears, your hopes, and your dreams honestly and courageously. You begin to understand that your value does not diminish because someone else fails to see it. This realization shifts your perspective from loss to opportunity, from despair to empowerment. The silence becomes a sanctuary where you reclaim your story and set the foundation for future joy and fulfillment. The power of your silence lies also in its consistency. It is not a fleeting reaction but a steady, unwavering stance. This steadiness shows that you are not moved by momentary emotions or the desire to fix what cannot be fixed. Instead, you stand firm in your truth and in your commitment to honor yourself. This creates a magnetic force, not because you seek to control or punish, but because you embody integrity and self-awareness. Your presence in silence becomes a lesson in dignity and strength, inspiring growth not through words, but through the power of being fully and unapologetically yourself. This form of silence is transformative because it is a choice made from love, not from fear, bitterness, or resentment. It signals a readiness to move beyond pain and into possibility. When you hold your silence, you reclaim your power to decide how you are treated and what you will accept. You refuse to be defined by rejection, and instead choose to be defined by your resilience and self-worth. This silence is not absence, it is presence. Presence with yourself, your healing and your future. It is the quiet yet undeniable voice of a soul committed to rise, to grow, and to love without compromise. Silence after rejection is not passive, it is the most active form of self-empowerment. When you choose silence, you take control of your narrative and refuse to let rejection define your value or dictate your emotions. This decision disrupts the usual script where pain is met with pleading or desperation. Instead, silence becomes your way of saying, "I am enough," regardless of what you decide. This affirmation is a profound act of courage, because it requires you to trust yourself deeply when everything inside urges you to seek answers or explanations. In that trust, you find the strength to stand tall and embrace your worth without apology. Your silence is a space where clarity begins to emerge. When you stop chasing after what cannot be caught, your mind becomes free to see things as they truly are. The fog of confusion lifts, revealing the reality of the situation with startling honesty. This clarity is both painful and liberating. It is painful because it forces you to face truths you might have avoided, but it is liberating because it breaks the chains of uncertainty and false hope. In this clear space, you realize that your happiness does not depend on his acceptance or validation. It depends on your ability to honor yourself and your feelings without compromise. Holding silence after rejection also teaches you the power of boundaries. Boundaries are not walls to keep others out, but bridges that lead you back to yourself. They protect your emotional energy from being drained by unreciprocated effort or misplaced hope. By not reacting immediately or trying to fix what is broken, you reinforce the message that your time and love are precious. You make it clear that you will not be available for less than what you deserve. This boundary is a declaration of self-respect that commands attention, not through noise or conflict, but through unwavering stillness. This stillness, though quiet, is electric with potential. It invites transformation by giving you room to heal and grow. In silence, you confront your fears, not to be consumed by them, but to understand them and release them. You learn to embrace your pain as a teacher, a guide that leads you toward deeper self-awareness and compassion. This process reshapes your identity from one that is dependent on external approval to one that is rooted in internal strength. Your silence becomes the fertile ground from which a new, more resilient version of yourself will grow. Ultimately, this silence is the beginning of your liberation. It frees you from the exhausting cycle of trying to change someone else or prove your worth to them. Instead, it anchors you in the unshakable truth that you are whole and deserving simply because you exist. This silence is a powerful declaration of independence, an assertion that your value is not negotiable and your peace is non-negotiable. It is the quiet roar of a soul reclaiming its power and rewriting its story. In this silence, you find the courage to move forward, to open your heart again, and to welcome a love that reflects the respect and honor you have cultivated within yourself. Silence after rejection is the quiet heartbeat of self-respect beating strong within you. It is the firm refusal to lower your standards or compromise your worth to fill a void left by someone else's absence. When you hold your silence, you are actively choosing to protect your emotional landscape, not out of spite or bitterness, but from a deep understanding that your peace matters most. This silence becomes a shield, guarding your spirit from further wounds while allowing the space for healing to begin. It's a choice that requires tremendous inner courage, for it means resisting the urge to fill the silence with explanations, apologies, or pleas that only drain your energy and blur your power. By embracing this silence, you send a message far more potent than any words could convey. You communicate that your value is inherent and cannot be negotiated or diminished by rejection. This unspoken truth challenges him to confront his own feelings and actions without the crutch of your reaction. The absence of your voice is not emptiness, but a powerful presence that demands reflection and accountability. It breaks the cycle of chasing and chasing, offering instead a stillness that invites growth. Not just for you, but for him as well. This silence is a transformative force, reshaping the relationship dynamics by shifting the power back to where it belongs, within you. Your silence is a catalyst for profound self-discovery. In this quiet, you peel back the layers of hurt and doubt, revealing the core of your true self beneath. It is here that you begin to recognize the limits of external validation and the boundless strength that comes from within. You learn that your worth is not contingent on acceptance, but is a birthright you carry regardless of others' opinions. This realization empowers you to move forward with clarity and confidence, unburdened by the need for approval or reconciliation. The silence becomes a sanctuary where your spirit is nourished and your confidence is rebuilt, brick by brick. Maintaining silence after rejection is also a powerful exercise in boundary setting. Boundaries are not just lines drawn to keep others out, they are declarations of self-love and respect. Your silence establishes these boundaries without aggression or defensiveness. It simply asserts that your time, your emotions, and your heart are precious and will not be wasted on uncertainty or neglect. This quiet boundary reshapes how you engage with others and, most importantly, how you engage with yourself. It fosters a deep respect for your own needs and creates a foundation for healthier, more fulfilling connections in the future. This silence, while it may feel heavy at times, is a source of immense power and transformation. It is not a retreat, but a powerful advance toward your own liberation. In choosing silence, you choose to honor your worth, to protect your peace, and to reclaim your narrative. You open the door to a new chapter where your self-love guides your actions and your confidence shapes your destiny. This silence is your declaration that you are enough, whole, and worthy of love that is both respectful and true. It is the quiet strength that will carry you forward into a future defined by freedom, growth, and unshakable self-respect. The silence you hold after rejection is not emptiness, it is a profound act of reclamation. It is where your power begins to rise, quietly but unmistakably, as you refuse to be broken by someone else's inability to appreciate you. In this silence, you no longer chase validation or approval. Instead, you turn inward and find the strength to stand firm in your own truth. This is a radical shift, a turning point where you stop defining yourself by how others see you and start defining yourself by how deeply you respect and love yourself. That inner respect becomes a fortress, unshakable and fierce, guarding your heart and guiding your steps. Your silence is the space where healing unfolds, not through denial but through acceptance and self-compassion. It is a pause that allows your emotions to settle and your mind to clear. In this stillness you begin to feel the pain fully, not to be trapped by it, but to release it. It is here that you recognize the difference between rejection as a reflection of another person's limitations and your own limitless value. This understanding softens the sharp edges of hurt and replaces them with a quiet confidence. The silence becomes a mirror reflecting your resilience, showing you how capable you are of recovering, growing, and thriving beyond the moment of pain. Holding silence after rejection is a demonstration of your deepest worth. It teaches you that you don't owe explanations or justifications for your boundaries or feelings. You learn to honor your emotions without letting them control you. This control is the key to reclaiming your emotional freedom. When you refuse to engage in reactive behaviors, whether it's arguments, pleas, or attempts to change someone's mind, you protect your energy. You choose peace over chaos, clarity over confusion. This choice shifts your internal dialogue from one of insecurity to one of strength. You become the keeper of your own heart, deciding when and how it is shared. This silence is also a powerful teacher of patience. It reminds you that transformation is not instantaneous. It is a process that requires time, presence, and self-awareness. Your silence is a commitment to that process, an act of trust in your own journey. You learn that sometimes the greatest growth comes from waiting, from allowing things to unfold naturally without forcing or rushing. In this patience, you cultivate deeper self-love, a love that does not need constant validation but is rooted in unwavering belief in your own value. Ultimately, this silence after rejection is a declaration of freedom. It breaks the cycle of dependency on someone else's approval and opens the door to your own empowerment. It invites you to step into your authenticity and live boldly, unapologetically. Your silence says, without words, that you deserve love that is genuine, respectful, and aligned with your truth. It signals that you are ready to receive a connection that honors your whole being. In this silence, you find the courage to move forward, not weighed down by what was lost, but uplifted by the limitless possibilities of what lies ahead. Have you ever wondered what happens in his mind when your voice is replaced by silence? When the calls stop, the messages fade, and the space you once filled in his life becomes an empty echo? He thought he was making a choice, pushing you away, creating distance, choosing freedom over commitment. But what he didn't realize is that silence has a weight that grows heavier with every passing day. At first, he may feel relief, the rush of independence, the thrill of not being tied down. But soon, that feeling fades. The world he thought would be brighter without you begins to dim. The quiet moments that once felt peaceful now feel empty. Your absence is no longer just a void, it's a reminder of the laughter you shared, the comfort of your voice, the warmth of your presence. He starts to notice it in the little things, in the empty seat across the table, in the quiet car rides, in the lonely glow of his phone screen. He thought he was strong enough to let you go. He thought he was choosing power, control, freedom. But true strength isn't in pushing someone away. It's in recognizing their value. And now, your silence is teaching him that lesson in a way words never could. He replays your last conversation, searching for signs he missed, moments he took for granted. He thought he could just move on, but your silence has become a mirror, reflecting everything he lost. Silence is powerful because it doesn't argue. It doesn't beg for attention or demand an explanation. It simply exists, growing louder with each passing day. It's in the nights when he reaches for his phone but stops himself, afraid of seeing nothing from you. It's in the moments he shares with others, feeling a hollowness he can't explain. Because even in a crowded room, he's alone with his thoughts of you. But your silence isn't just about him. It's about you. It's about the quiet strength you've discovered, the dignity of walking away without a fight, the courage of choosing peace over chaos. It's not weakness, it's wisdom. It's a sign that you understand your worth, that you won't beg for the love you deserve. It's the mark of someone who knows that being alone is better than being unvalued. And that's why your silence is so powerful. It doesn't just haunt him, it heals you. It gives you space to grow, to rediscover who you are beyond his approval. It turns your focus inward, reminding you that your value was never determined by his affection, but by your own self-respect. So while he's haunted by the emptiness, you are thriving in the peace you've created. He thought he was rejecting you, but now, in the quiet, he's beginning to realize something he never expected. He was the one who lost. Write something.